What's up YouTube? Welcome to another exciting personal finance video where I'm talking gold, silver, stocks, all sorts of cool stuff. If you guys are into that, please do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom. The link will be down there in the description below. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before making any investment decisions, such as buying gold or silver, or investing in any of the stocks that I discuss, or following any of the strategies that I discuss on this channel. The channel is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research, get a financial advisor, and that's it. So guys, it's been a few weeks since I did a video. I've been busy, work and life and all sorts of stuff. But here we are, May 12th, 2022. And wow, what a difference a few weeks has made. You know, the stock market, bond markets, they've sold off massively over the past couple of weeks. We've had high inflation prints. Last was 8.3%, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday. The Fed raised 50 basis points as expected. The Bank of Canada, the same. So yeah, central banks appear to be responding to the high inflation. I say appear because it's not all that obvious that they're actually going to be able to effectively tame inflation. They've been wrong about everything, and good luck with this one. But meanwhile, asset prices are taking a tumble. We're seeing housing markets across the US, Canada, you know, all the hot housing markets are down. Sales are down. Refis are down. And mortgage originations are down. Prices, I haven't seen a whole lot on prices sort of coming down. People dropping their prices. If it's happening, my guess is it's not that significant yet. Not to say that we can't get there. But I think the setup is there's going to be real damage. Every day I wake up and say, you know, today's another day where debt and stuff like that doesn't matter. But one day it's eventually going to matter. And, you know, either we just pack on so much debt that it just kind of collapses in on itself, it implodes, or interest rates start to rise to combat super high inflation. And then all of a sudden that debt, basically free money, no interest payments or very little, all of a sudden that becomes a huge burden, and interest payments start to eat into a greater portion of household budgets. Yeah, so, and I think that's kind of where we are. It just feels like we're at the very beginning of this. I don't really feel like we're at the end or even midway through. I mean, to be honest, we haven't, you know, the numbers are indicating that, you know, things are starting to, there's a pause, I guess. I wouldn't even call it like a pronounced slowdown or reversal yet. It's just basically, it seems things have kind of paused out, and it's kind of a wait and see. I suspect, though, going forward, if central banks are serious and they are going to raise, you know, a few more 50 basis point hikes, you know, one in June, one in, I don't know, August or July or whatever, then we'll start to see a bit more things kind of roll over. It's going to probably hit the real economy a lot harder. You know, anybody who has debt that's not fixed rate debt is probably gonna suffer higher debt servicing costs. I mean, it just seems obvious to me. You know, there's a lot of money that's out on line of credits, home equity line of credits, and that debt isn't fixed. That is, you know, as interest rates go up, the cost on that goes up as well. So, you know, we live in an age where nobody has money and we just borrow like crazy. If you're a homeowner, you have a home equity line of credit that you can borrow to buy cars, go on vacations, buy furniture, do upgrades, and all that money's going to have to be kind of repriced now. It's actually going to become more of a burden. Yes, you can make interest-only payments, but those interest-only payments will go up. And anyway, don't want to dwell too much on all this stuff. It's not, what is it? I'd say maybe it's the beginning of the end. We're seeing stock markets respond. They're down like 15%. I think S&P 500's down 15%. The NASDAQ's down about 27% from its all-time high. I mean, these are some serious numbers. We're definitely, it's definitely more than a correction. I don't know if we're in a bear market yet, if we will get into one. I suspect we probably will. And even things like gold and silver have come off quite a bit. Gold today is trading at 1808. Silver's at just below $21. Oil's up to $110 a barrel again. Today's a bit of a bounce on the markets as well. I see things are up quite a bit. Everything is still super volatile. You have these big sell-offs in the morning, and then the kind of afternoon rally that kind of fizzles out into the close, and that to me is just, these are the kind of weird sort of wonky moves that that kind of precipitate a larger I don't want to say crash, but I guess maybe the beginnings of a bear market or something like that. I'm not sure. Anyway, other than that, I just want to mention that, I've, over the past few months, I've added to my gold and silver, pile, and, I definitely see myself buying a bit more gold, especially on this dip. Yesterday, I picked up a few stocks. These are definitely not buy recommendations. Do your own research, people. Almost everything I buy goes down immediately. So you gotta kind of be prepared for that. But I felt like there was enough damage done. There was enough carnage in some of these names, and they were essentially where they were when I bought them back in January. So I felt, what the hell? Might as well buy them back again. And those names are Pan American Silver, Equinox Gold, Sandstorm Gold. It's a small kind of royalty company. And I picked up an inflation ETF, INFL. I picked that up, and all of them are up today. They're actually doing quite well. So by miracle, for once, I actually bought a dip and didn't get killed the next day. But anyways, these are all, with the exception of the ETF, Sandstorm, Equinox, Pan American Silver. I mean, they're all down, trading back to their 52-week lows and that. So, and really, again, you have to ask yourself, if you're investing in this space, if you're looking to diversify, maybe you're into index funds, and you're worried about inflation, you want to kind of diversify a little bit into like gold and silver sector and stuff. That to me, like, has anything fundamentally changed? I know central banks are raising interest rates, and that is, I wouldn't say it's a super game changer yet. I mean, we are early innings on this interest rate hikes. And it's not at all clear how far we're really going to get, or how much stomach they really have, the powers that be really have, to withstand the carnage and damage that's gonna happen. I mean, you got to look at these markets. They're still well above where they were pre-COVID. And, you just got to think, like, I saw the mess in Bitcoin. I saw that Luna and UST or Terra or whatever pegged to the dollar. And it's like these things just collapsed and got crushed. Bitcoin seems to be bouncing back. I think it's around 30 grand today. That's US dollars, of course. But it's not at all clear that it's going to stay there. And I think there's real damage done out there that, I think a lot of retail investors are underwater. They're probably hurting. If you've been buying, any of these NASDAQ stocks, these high flyers, I mean, these are down significantly. And, of course, the poster child for all this is the Cathie Wood ARK Invest Fund, which is down, I don't know, something crazy, 50% or more. I don't know exactly. Some of the individual names are down 80% or whatever. It's just, you can imagine like a company like Zoom, these things might, like, when you buy things at the top of a bubble, you may never get your money back. And it's a tough lesson. Many people learned it in the year 2000 when we had the tech wreck, the tech bubble that turned into a complete collapse. And maybe certain people can withstand that kind of, can stomach that kind of loss, and they're true believers. They are going to buy and hold forever. But in practice, I mean, very few people will hold and let alone reinvest, buy more, average down, and then hold on to something like that for 20 years or something, waiting for it to go back up. And if that ever does happen, they usually sell right away and don't make anything off of it anyway. So you're better off just dumping it now. My own thoughts, of course, we've all been there. If you've been an investor at all in stocks or ETFs, mutual funds, then we've all bought things that have gone down significantly and didn't get out in time. And we have a choice at those points. You either hang on to these things and be a true believer, or you wake up and smell the coffee and you dump those shares. And we've all had to do that. It's tough. I hate having a loss like that. But at the same time, sometimes we're wrong. Actually, more often than not, we're probably wrong. So you got to be careful. And so anyways, it's just one of those things that comes with some experience investing in the markets over time, I guess. Buy stuff that you can stand to lose. Even those shares that I bought yesterday, they to my mind, they represent great value right now. But I mean, that could change. Maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe one of them goes under or something like that. My point is, I don't have all my eggs in one basket. I manage my position sizes. It's not like I'm putting my life savings into speculative, small cap gold stocks or whatever. What I do think, for decent stocks, you could put a, large cap, these stalwart, steady Eddie dividend stocks. Some of them will do well in all types of markets and that. So anyway, moving on from that, I wanted to showcase some really cool coins that I picked up. And as I've said before in these videos, I've been a lifelong coin collector. I just find them fascinating. Like I said, with these old gold coins that used to circulate, like the Indian heads, the rooster, Napoleon III, that type of thing. I'm always it's just amazing that, we can actually hold artifacts from those eras in time, when gold was money, when silver was money. And it's even more amazing the further back in time that you go. Now, I think I've showed on this channel, maybe one of my earlier videos, some of the ancient Roman coins that I'd collected like 20 years ago. Those are really cool, right? Like 2,000-year-old coins. That's really cool. I really like seeing those things, holding them in your hand. It's just like, something that's survived 2,000 years. It's just amazing. This is stuff that you probably see in a museum, but it's behind glass. You can't actually touch it and hold it. And, who else would have held these things? Where did they come from? Like what journey has these coins been on? That's kind of what I think. So I don't usually collect coins from England or Great Britain, but for whatever reason, I've gotten really fascinated and interested in like the medieval period, the eras of castles and stuff. I mean, I got young kids too, so they're kind of into that too. Maybe that's what kind of pushed me into it. But it got me curious and on the lookout for some really interesting examples of very early, like medieval England coinage. And I have two really cool coins here that I wanted to showcase. They're very, very cool. This one here, this is it's a silver penny. It's a short cross King John silver penny, and it's from the year. They don't know for sure because coins weren't stamped with the years, but they can guess and estimate that it was between 1199 and 1216, and this is hammered silver, so struck with, I don't know, a dying hammer and stuff like that. It's really cool. King John, small silver penny. Try to get a nice close-up shot for you guys to see. You can kind of see the monarch's face, and this is a VF, so about a VF30, I'm guessing. And it's just a really cool coin. I'm going to just flip it over on the back side, and you can see the short cross. That's that thing right there. Some of these coins, this is old. Some of them are found by like metal detectorists in the UK, and this is a pretty good example. You might notice that little I don't know, ding or whatever. Sometimes they have little cracks and stuff like that. But that's all very normal for a coin of this age and how it was made. And but I could tell these weren't dug out of the ground yesterday. These are very, very old. They have old black toning on them. So I don't know when they would have been found, uncovered, discovered, or what collection they came from, but you can just tell by how the toning is. You know, they haven't been harshly cleaned. You know, a lot of people, a lot of the metal detector people, they you know, you dig these out of the ground, they're all, you know, you try to clean them up, and if they're scrubbed with a brush, they're left with all sorts of, you know, markings and stuff like that, and it just takes away from the coin. I hope this is a really good picture. I'm trying to get a really good close-up, but it is in a 2x2 flip, so I'm trying to avoid the light sheen and stuff like that. Just trying to get you guys to see a nice example. Yeah, so this is the short cross silver penny. It's funny when you think about the history of the penny. I never knew that a silver penny ever existed. And then, of course, they went to the large cent, the large, I don't know what would be, a pence maybe, shilling or something like that. Anyway, it was, you know, made out of copper. And then, of course, the pennies got smaller after the First World War to like the more modern pennies. And then, of course, the copper, they ended up not using the copper anymore. At one point in the Second World War, the U.S. was striking steel pennies. Any of my American friends, I'm sure everybody and their dog has a steel penny in the collection. Yeah, very cool though. Very interesting. Now, I don't know, it's like zinc. Canada doesn't even have pennies anymore. 2012 was their last penny. And when they got rid of that, there was a plated zinc, nickel plated zinc, or I don't know what it was, some sort of weird plating. And here's the second one. This is a very it's a really good quality, you know, a VF to EF, you know, for modern day coin collectors. If you know anything about coins, you know, that's nothing to really be, you know, it's just not that high of a grade, right? But to have a coin that's 500 years old in that grade is really something. It's not like they're finding these in uncirculated. Again, a lot of these just didn't survive. They you don't see them in this condition. You don't see them this nice. Look at the old black toning on this. So yeah, this one here was struck. Says 1490 to 1504. It's Henry VII. It's a silver groat. I'm not really all that familiar with British denominations in that. My understanding, based on some research I've done, is a groat is worth about four pence or 4 shilling or something like that. 4 cents anyway. Of course, struck in silver. You can see a little crack up here at the top. Again, that's normal. but a really nice effigy of the monarch, Henry VII. It's facing, the bust is like a facing bust. Later on in the coinage of Henry VII, I believe he has one a bust that turns sideways. It's more kind of like the modern look of our coins and that. So my guess, it does have a mint mark. I don't know if you guys can see this. It was struck at the Tower Mint, and I think you can see it maybe up there in that corner. There's a little anchor. And that little anchor signifies it was struck in London at the Tower Mint. And that particular, you can narrow down this coin based on some of the lettering, the shape and make of the crown, that mint mark. I think it's between 1499 and 1502 was when this one would have been made. Again, just a very interesting piece. You know, it's just so cool that you can hold a piece of medieval history in your hand like this. You know, what was it like back then? You know, some of these times, you know, that John the Penny, that's like the time of Robin Hood. King John signed the Magna Carta in 1216, I think is when he signed it, or something like that. 1215, something like that. 1213. I mean, that was basically the foundation of our modern kind of Bill of Rights and, you know, right to a fair trial and stuff like that. People didn't have that before. This was the age of peasants and lords and, you know, pre-modern society, feudal society, feudalism. You know, Henry VII, of course, he was the father to Henry VIII, who we all know, you know, killed all his wives, like Anne Boleyn and all that. Couldn't give him an heir, and that whole thing. Got excommunicated by the Catholic Church and did something there. So I think, yeah, these crosses mean something on these old coins. I think maybe I don't know, maybe it's like the church and king or something like that. The church ordained monarchy, or the king rules by the grace of God, or something like that. It means something. I don't know exactly. I didn't read into all that stuff yet, but very, very interesting coins. And I don't know why I picked this up. It just looked really, really cool. I wanted something really cool. I looked high and low. It's hard to find these things in this type of condition. Like I've said, usually they're all worn, well worn. They lack detail. And I must admit, this came in a lot better. I didn't really know. I bought this based on some scans at the coin shop that I deal with, and I was surprised they actually even had one. I looked all over, and lo and behold, there's one right under my nose the entire time. Didn't think the look, didn't see it, but found it in the end, and I snapped it up quickly. You don't see them this nice. They're typically almost all rubbed off, or broken or bent or cracked or whatever. It has old toning. And I cannot tell you guys, express how happy I am to have received this coin in better than expected condition. I was trying to look at it, and it's so hard to grade coins like this. And it's so hard to see the detail when there's like this amount of intense black toning on the coin, because it's very hard to see depth. And so I really wasn't sure. I was really like, I didn't think that it would quite be a VF-EF coin. But now that it's in front of me and I can look at it, I have this loop, or this magnifying glass. It's a 30X. I wonder if I could kind of go through there. Nah, I guess you can't really see that. But anyway, that's a nice VF 30, I guess they'd call it. Coin, nice high quality. The lettering, it's kind of tough to make out a lot of this stuff, but anyway. Yeah, so that's my video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom. The link is in the description below. Cheers.